Hi, and welcome to the Story of Cooking. I'm Sarah Nicholas. Hi, and welcome to the Story of Cooking. I'm Sarah Nicholas. This show explores people and their unique story of cooking. Each week, we take a different story and tell you how to create that in your own home. You don't have to be a 4-star chef, but have a love for history and a passion for cooking, and you can create an amazing meal. Today, I'm joined by Chef Irvay from the International Culinary Center, which I had the pleasure of attending and graduated in May, and Chef Irvay was one of my chefs, so he's going to share 3 dishes that I learned in school that are very classically French. Welcome, Chef.
Thank you to have me. Okay, so yes, we're going to do 3 very, very classic dishes. One is one of my favorite called the quenelles. Quenelles are very basic, made in French. This one we're going to do is it's like a dumpling, okay? It's a very small little dumpling, and we're going to serve this with a little chicken consommé who's getting ready. So today we're going to do chicken quenelle, the same one yes you did at the school, base of pretty much the radio is very easy. It's pretty much 1-1-1. We're pretty much using 1 pound of chicken for maybe 1 cup of cream and 1 egg white. You can always adjust a little bit the chicken and or the cream or the egg white to depend the consistency you want. Okay. All right, we're ready to go.
Yes,
okay.
Please show me what we're doing.
Everything is ready. What's very important when you do this recipe is everything has to be extremely cold to prevent the cream and the eggs and the chicken to separate, to be nice and smooth.
Because you're creating kind of a mousse, right?
Mousse, exactly. A mousseline, a mousse. So it needs to be very nice and smooth. Okay. For this, we need a food processor like this one or whatever you have in your home kitchen, and we're ready to go. So I have very cold, lean, very important, a very lean chicken. Don't use the legs, use the breast. It's always much more easy. Okay. So the first thing we're going to use, we're going to pulse the chicken first, and we have our pound. So now, if you have a smaller food processor, you can maybe do half a pound, or do a smaller recipe.
Right.
Just to make sure you don't overfill the.
Break your food processor.
Well, I don't think the bread it will just maybe not mix properly.
Oh, okay, because you want it to be smooth.
Exactly.
Yep.
So first we get the chicken. And you see that now the proteins start to bind together. I like to add a little bit of the seasoning at a time.
Okay.
A little bit of
salt.
Salt and pepper.
White pepper.
White pepper, I try to stay away from the black because I don't mind the black little dot because we have a nice kind of white on the mousseline at the end. So I don't mind, but to avoid this you can use white pepper. A lot of people, the chefs, don't like white pepper. I have no problem to white pepper. You can
Does it taste a lot different than regular pepper?
The white pepper, the black pepper, it's you have the skin on the outside.
Right.
That's what gives you all the flavor.
Gotcha.
The white pepper, they can removing the oil. They wash it after it's dry, so they're removing the oil. They can removing a lot of flavor. So you still have the heat, but you don't really have the flavor of the
Gotcha.
pepper.
Gotcha.
Okay. You can use cayenne if you don't really want to use. But you can.
Cayenne doesn't seem very French.
Yes. But it still give you a good flavor.
All right. So that was heavy cream, right?
Just a little bit to kind of mix it nicely. I'm going to add the egg white. You don't want to run too long with the cream, okay? Because if you mix
I
the
didn't know
cream,
that.
you're going to do a whipped cream. And last thing you want to do
That
is
makes sense.
break the whipped cream. So I'm going to add the egg white, and then we're going to finish with the cream.
So are people in America scared to eat moose chicken? Something that's popular here? I know you serve it in the restaurant.
I would say here it's known as dumpling. Okay, the chef will do. They call them dumpling. and you see them a lot of, if you go like every Asian restaurant, if you do any
Sure.
kind of dumpling, you will
Makes
find
sense.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
So no, it's popular. It's a popular one.
I've been told it was Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis's favorite food too.
It was. Well, yeah, it's very popular, and especially I would say quenelle, the little dumpling like this we're going to do, and very small.
Right.
They are popular, but now the whole school from the the 60s, 70s, you do like a large quenelle and
Oh, okay.
wash and then bake in the oven. That losing a little bit is a touch. The reason is after they're done, you pretty much have to serve them the same day. So it's not like you can reuse. So in a restaurant,
right.
it can be a lot of waste. And it's a lot of work, it's a lot of the time consuming. So it's not as popular. But hotel, bankrupt, prefix menu, you might find them.
Yeah.
Alright, we don't want to push this longer.
So what kind? We're gonna add seasoning herbs now.
Yes, well, but what I'm going to do with the herbs, I don't want to add the herbs to the food processor.
Oh, okay.
Reason, I don't want them to be chopped.
Okay.
I don't want them to, and then they're going to start to bleed inside the bowl, so give you kind of a green color.
Oh, okay.
to
That
it.
makes sense. I did that all wrong at school then.
You did this wrong, you mix it with, well, you have to be careful, just don't do them too long. You don't
Right.
per se quickly.
Got it.
And the first time you might do this, especially at home, you might have problem to, let me drop this in the sink. You might have problem to, they might be not smooth as you want, it might not be the consistency as you want, etc.
Right.
etc. You need a practice. Here it was maybe a little too much for the size of the food processor, but it will work, okay?
Looks good.
Okay. And something I do for the herbs, and I like to keep it nice and straight. I don't like to chop my herbs like you will do by using a knife. It's something is very important. It's something we definitely teach at the ICC. Is to slice your herbs
Right.
instead to chopping your herbs.
I did retain that.
You can return that. Good. So at the end, what I like to keep the herbs nice and tight together. And again, we just take the knife and you just.
Right. Is that also called chiffonade?
Yes. And pretty much just, chopping everything, but by using the motion of slicing instead to,
Right.
banging on a board for me, you just ring your knife and it's crushing the herb. So anytime I see this happening, it just,
Drives you
I
crazy.
don't need that much. I think here we have enough.
Okay.
Even
And that
now,
was
if you-
parsley?
Yes, this is parsley. That
Okay.
even if you're getting smaller, just slice again using your knife and use the
And is it important to have your herbs really dry?
Yes, and if you look like now, the cutting board is still is not green, so I didn't waste any of the herb inside.
That's a good tip.
Okay.
Yep.
The other one we're going to use is a little bit of tarragon. Okay, the tarragon is going to give you another flavor, a little bit more of the flavor. So the parsley is a little mild on flavor. The tarragon is a bit stronger. So
Very
you want to
lemony.
use a little less. Okay.
Okay.
And beautiful leaves. This is beautiful leaves of fresh tarragon. I try to don't use dry. I start to stay with fresh herb is always better than using dry herbs.
Absolutely. So is this a classical, what you would put in, what
Yes,
herbs you would
these,
use?
Parsley and tarragon are definitely the two classic ones. The other one you can use is chervil.
Yeah, I think we
Chervil
use
is
chervil
a
at
very,
school.
very delicate one. And but I would say the classic is to make the dumpling. Now after that, you can do your own version. If you want to add another fresh herb inside, if you want to do a little basil inside, I don't think so it's wrong, and I don't think so you don't have to change the name. But it is definitely a classic. So we have this, and then usually when you do the first one, you want to do a test,
Okay.
okay, to make sure they
Seasoning's
work
right?
properly. Exactly, testing the seasoning. We mix this nicely. Maybe I will transfer this to a larger bowl. Well, we'll be fine. We make it happen.
So how did you become a chef?
Well, my father is a cheesemaker. So I remember when I was a kid, when I was in the summer, I was on my 9-10 years old, I used to go with my dad deliver cheese. And we used to go to all these best restaurants, you go in France, any restaurant, and I still have the picture of these. For me, they look like giants because I was maybe the height of the table here. So they look like a giant, a big hat, everything white. And I come here, I was like, wow. And my dad, I was like maybe 9 years old, I told my dad, like, oh, I want to be a chef. That's what I want to do. I want to be a chef. I want to cook, etc., etc. With that kind of no idea what cooking was. And that's why my dad, because he's a cheesemaker and he knows how hard it is.
Exactly.
So that's when he comes to me. He's like, wait a minute, okay? Kitchen, you're going to work 5, 6, 7 days a week.
Hard work, yeah.
17 hours a day. You're on your feet. It's hot, etc., etc. And so what he did, he decided to send me to a restaurant for a month. I was 1982. 1982, I was not even 14, I was like 13 and a half, I was going to my 14. So, sent me to one of the best restaurants in France, because you know them by delivery cheese to them. And he told the chef, and he said, I want him to do the same hours than everybody, I want him to do the same days, 6 days a week, so I worked 6 days a week, and how many hours, I don't know, I didn't really worry. And so my first day in the kitchen, I definitely remember this. And I was with these guys, for me it looked like he was 200 years old, he was maybe just 50. And he was the butcher. And I was across from him, and I still remember he cut a piece of meat and he sliced his finger off. But come in slice, he lose a piece of finger. And the thing he does is just grab it, drop it in the garbage, wrap his finger, he started to cook. Me, 12 years old, I passed out. And then when I came home, I took my dad and said, I don't know if I want to do that. Okay.
Yeah, understandable.
So the first day I got a doubt.
A little scary.
I don't regret anything.
Very good.
That was that's something I definitely use at the school. At the SEC, I always remind students like my first day in the kitchen and say, my first day I got a doubt. I don't know if I want to do that.
My first day I passed out.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
Alright, so this is my quenelle, and you see I have a very low simmering here, so we're pushing them very slowly. It's better, and you see the shaping already. They're all their shape, okay? This is from the egg white. This is from the protein from the chicken. So the shape I'm giving a quenelle, when you do a quenelle, you give a shape of football.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Okay? A nice little football. They take, to depend the size you will do, this might take 2 to 3 minutes to cook. Going to paste them like this, roll them inside, and usually what you do, we serve them right away on a nice consommé bowl. Little vegetable can be used, etc., etc. Work very, very well. Okay, and that's very much
excellent.
Nice little quenelle.
Yeah, we're gonna finish the quenelles up and clean up the area, and when we come back, we will make our fish and papillote. Welcome back, and we have everything ready to make our fish papillote.
All right, so. For this dish, we have one of the components we didn't have with us is the tomato fondue. Tomato fondue is just a base of tomato, or we émondé. Émondé means by removing the skin, removing the seed of the tomato, chopped nicely, and cooked slowly with a little bit of oil, no color, touch of garlic, and of course salt and pepper. Okay. We don't have the tomato fondue. What we have here today, we have also the duxelles. Or the duxelles, it's a mix we did already because it takes little time to be done, so it's just chopped mushrooms, saute with a little bit of butter, a little salt, pepper, touch of lemon if you want to give it acidity and keep the color on your
shallots.
And the shallots, yes. We did the shallots, of course. Okay. We have a very thin julienne, or it's very small bâtonnet of celery, leeks, and carrot. Or Sarah, you're going to cook this for me?
Sure. Yes, chef.
So. We're going to do a nice little étuvée. Étuvée is a small amount of water and butter. They don't need to be cooked all the way because they're going to cook again with the fish. So you pretty much just need to cook them for, I will just say a few minutes to get nice and soft and tender. We're going to cook them in the same pan. The reason we do a small amount. Now, usually at the school, when we do a larger amount, we cook all these vegetables separately, of course, because they're not cooking at the same.
Do we need more than that?
No, that's fine. That's fine. And just a bit of the carrot, and we can put this out of our way. All right. So the time she's getting this ready, and this is a little what we call a cartouche or a parchment lid, and we're just going to put this nicely on top to avoid to have too much a quick evaporation. Okay, just a little pepper lids like this. You don't have too much evaporation. All right. On this dish, we have little white wine. We're going to put on the side for now. Little lemon we're going to use for decoration, a little bit for flavor. Thyme for flavor, also we're going to add inside, and of course salt and a little bit of pepper to finish, and an egg white. The egg white is going to help me to seal the papillote. So what's a papillote? A papillote, it's usually it's done with a protein, we cook kind of fast. something we cook, I would say, for less than 15 minutes. Okay.
Do you do other things in papillote other than fish?
You can do chicken, but then we
Right.
need to do a very thin scalloping of chicken, something cooked very, very fast. Okay. So here we're going to use a flounder. Okay. So the flounder we have here, the fillet already. So we have a nice little fillet of flounder. And what we're going to do just to make it a little nicer for when we're going to present them, what we're going to do, and that's something I like to do, we're going to just cut them like this, and we're just going to bread it a little bit.
Oh wow, we did not do that in school. That's
No, I
pretty.
know.
I like that.
We don't do that at the school. Some classic chef start still doing this. Okay, so we just bread our fish like this, pour this on top, and we're just going to keep this on a side like this. Okay.
Very
So like
fancy.
this, we have a nicer presentation. If you don't want to do this, you can just have a nice little
Right.
section on the fish, and it will work perfectly.
Just like braiding hair.
Exactly. I'm going to braid my hair every day. All right. Parchment paper. What we're going to use, so I can fold them in half. And now what I want to do is to give them a little shape. So I'm going to first give a little cut, just right there. Okay. So just give a little cut here. And then what I like to do on my parchment, actually, do I need all this? I might just need half of this.
So, what's your favorite thing to make at home? Like
My
when you're
favorite
cooking for
thing?
your wife?
What I love to do actually, especially at home, I like to do something very simple. So anything I can grill, anything I can do on
Oh,
a grill,
okay.
just like a nice little piece of fish, little oil. So I do very simple. My wife is also from Brazil, so we like to do rice, and sometimes this. So sometimes I do, during the winter, I can do sometimes little stew I like to do.
Right.
You're supposed to do a little heart shape with this. I'm very terrible about making anything look like a heart. So what I'm just doing to do here, I'm just going to do a little shape with my parchment. It's just like this, something I can use, and I'll be able to close after for my
Here you go, chef.
papillote. All right. So my parchment paper is ready. My fish is ready. I have my wine, my lemon, my salt, my pepper, the duxelle, and I believe your veg here, they're perfectly done.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we're just going to stop this.
Okay, I'll get
And-
those done. Off.
Yeah, and if you want to transfer this in this plate, I give you the plate, and I give you the tongue here. Try
Perfect.
to keep them nicely
Separated.
okay? I'm just going to go around, and I'm going to grab my duxelle right there. So, the reason of I'm using a duxelle here, I want to put this nicely on the bottom, is to give a support to my fish. The reason if my fish directly has contact with my baking dish, it might burn on the bottom. Okay, it might be little too. Get too much temperature, too much heat, and it might burn. So this gives me a little support for my fish, and I make smaller because I like to make a small little papillote. Okay, my fish go on top nicely. Now we're going to add our little julienne, or the nice little season. It's very important on this dish that everything is seasoned properly, because after the parchment is closed, there's nothing you can add. So you're going to present this
Right.
to your guests, and if you miss your seasoning, you'll be not able to adjust.
And this is something that you would open up at the table, right?
You
It's supposed to look beautiful.
Well, usually, yes, you can open at the table. The waiter can open at the table, or you can open it just before you send. But the best is to open at the table, because when you open it, you get all the steams coming out. That's what you want.
Smells very dramatic.
Absolutely. Then we have a little bit of the wine, so a touch of wine, not too much. That's to give me some extra steam. The spring of thyme. You can take a slice of lemon. I'm not going to put the lemon on, but what I'm going to do is just squeeze a few little drops of lemon right there. Okay? So now we're ready to close this. Okay? And I don't want to go too much in the center, just to be able to close it like this. Alright, so now we're ready to go. So what we're going to use to seal the pepper properly is a little bit of egg white. The reason the egg white, when they're going to cook, they're going to coagulate, they're going to set nicely the parchment. So I'm just brushing a little bit of the pouring this, and that's when it's tricky. That's where you want to do small little twist,
Right.
and seal this properly. Okay.
Do you want me to do that for you? You got it.
You know, that's pretty much going done, and now we're going to bake. You want to finish this?
Okay.
All right, I'll let you. I'm start maybe on the wrong side for you. And the time she's doing this, the only thing I want to go around, a papillote, the reason it's very healthy, it's a very lean. You see, I'm not adding any fat here, okay? The reason usually when you cook, you bake, whatever, you need some fat. Here, because you have a closed vessel and you're going to have a steam. So you're going to have the steam from the fish, you're going to have the moisture from the fish, the moisture from the vegetable, etc. All this is going to give you a nice little steam and cooked all your vegetable and your fish properly. This size we have right there will take about 9 to 10 minutes to depend the size. It can take a little longer. Baked in an oven on a cooking tray, whatever you're having, you can using a cooking tray at about 350-degree oven. Okay, and the time will be about beautiful. The time will be about I would say the size like this between 8 to 10 minutes. Okay?
And it's important to have it sealed so it puffs up.
It's you're going to pop nicely. You brush them. I like to brush them a little bit with oil. It can be an olive, a cheapest oil you can find. Okay, you don't want to spend too much money on the oil for that. Right. And usually when you do, you just do a nice little cross, cut it on top, and the best way is to transfer to your plate and serve to your guests right away.
And you cut it right in the middle. And
I like to cut just to cut right in the middle, and you know it's nice if you have the waiter go to the table or you go to your guest, you bring, you cut, and you get all these aromas going out. You know, the thyme, the flavor, and everything. Perfect. And it gives you a nice flavor. And that's it. Our papillote is done, ready to be baked in the oven at 350.
Excellent. So we're going to get the area cleaned up, and when we come back, we will have both dishes plated. Welcome back, and we have both our dishes plated.
Yes, so our chicken mousseline is done. So we serve this with a little chicken consommé. It doesn't have to be chicken consommé, it can be a duck, whatever we want. So just to go over our mousseline quickly, same amount of, so I have half a pound of chicken, half a cup of cream and 1 egg white, little salt, little white pepper, a little bit of parsley and tarragon, okay? Our second one is our papillote. I removed them in the oven from a few minutes already now, so it can go down a little bit. But what you will do is just now take a scissor, if you can cut it, yes, and cut through the parchment like this. And usually I like to cut 2 little cross, and you pretty much, I'm going to open nicely as you can see. And like this you have your fish, it's nicely cooked. You have a little bit of duxelle, a little bit of the liquid, your moisture.
You can see the steam.
And you start to see a little bit of the steam.
Smells good.
Out, okay? And I know you cannot smell this, but you have all the flavor beautiful. Little lemon for garnish, but if you want to squeeze, we can definitely add a lemon to give a nice flavor.
So we didn't have time to do dessert, but Chef, what would you do for a dessert? What's your favorite French dessert?
I wouldn't go about my flavor. I would say we did a French classic here. I will stay with a very French classic dessert. And I would say something will go very well now with a nice little profiterole, so doing a little pâte à choux. Yes. Or it's a dough you baked twice, you cooked in the stove, and we baked in the oven. They get very light and hairy, and very much what you do, you just add a little ice cream on this, vanilla ice cream, and a little bit of a nice warm chocolate sauce.
Yeah, that's what we did in school, with puff pastry with ice cream in the center. It was really good.
I would say to kind of complete a meal like this would be a great little, definitely a great little dessert.
Excellent, it looks really good. So we have our chicken mousseline and our consommé broth, and our fish and papillote, we use flounder, and had a little bit of mushroom duxelle, but again, there are other options. We'll post that recipe online. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Everything looks great, and hope to see you again on the show sometime.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining me on this chapter of the Story of Cooking. I'm Sarah Nicholas, along with Chef Irvay. See you next time.